Hi, my name is Matt Cardwell. I'm one of the crew here at Cognisys, and today I'm going to talk to you about motion control with the StackShot 3X controller. So the first step is to, of course, turn on your controller. So just press the side button, splash screen will come up, it'll tell you what software version you're currently running, and then you'll be at the main screen. And from here, we want to get into video mode. So to do that, you press the settings button right there, and the very top line is the button that'll get you into any of the different modes that StackShot offers. So here we want to get into motion, so we're going to press that button and go down to motion. And for this demo, we're going to do video continuous. And here you see some curves on the screen and a whole bunch of buttons in different colors. So you'll see the yellow line there, and that is the position for the x-axis. You see here the x, that is saying that x is yellow, that curve is yellow, that's the position for that one. If I press this, the curve will change to blue, that's your y-axis, and press it again, it'll be z, and it's kind of an orange color. So let's get back to the x. You'll also see a green curve on there. Now green is the speed that things are going to move. So here we see in the bottom left-hand corner of the curve, it is at the bottom saying that the speed is 0, and your peak speed is going to happen at about the middle, and then it's going to drop back down to 0. From here, the easiest way to get started is to use our helper, and the helper will walk you through, ask you a few questions for what you want to do, and go from there. So we hit the helper button, and then it says this helper will simplify some of the settings. It'll ask you how many axes you want to use. For this demo, we're going to use a single axis. And here we say 1. Please enter the total duration of this video. We're going to say this one's going to be 30 seconds. So it'll come up, it'll ask you how long you want this to run for. We're going to say 30 seconds, and then we hit OK. Now here's some built-in motion profiles, and there's 4 of them there. For this example, we want to do a smooth start and finish. So we select that, and it says, is this axis a rotary, rail, or slider? In this case, our x-axis is our pan axis, so we're going to select rotary. And now it wants us to move to the beginning position. So to do that, we're going to select, you can use the current position, or we can move it. We're gonna move this. It'll bring up the 3 axes, and in this case, we want to go over to that spot, and we're done, so we're going to hit the back, and OK. Now we have to choose the end position. Now here, you can move, just like we did to choose a start position, or you can enter an actual degree that you want to move. In this case, not really sure how many degrees we want to move since we're going to frame it visually. So we're going to do move again, and now we're going to choose our end position, and as you slide up, the speed will increase as well. So that looks good for this demo, and we'll go back and choose OK. And it shows that in this case we're moving 63.33 degrees. There won't be a quiz, you don't need to remember that, so we will press OK, and there we go. So that is our setup. Now you'll see, I want to point out these guys down here, these 3 bottom buttons. 0 all is red because if you press that right now, you'll lose your start position. It'll reset that position you're currently at as the beginning for the next move. So you probably don't want to press that most of the time. Sometimes if you're doing a specific type of move, you'll want to reset your 0 position, but not in this case. So now if we hit start, we'll actually get a little pop-up. And here it says, need to move to the start. And it's asking us, okay or not. Well, we do want to. And we hit OK, and once we do, everything will go back to the beginning, and then it'll start the motion profile. So for this, we have a move of just a nature landscape taken when StackShot 3X was just a prototype. As you can see, as the pan continues, the red line gets filled in on the curve to show you visually where it's at in the process of moving through this motion profile. And there we go. We just completed our first motion profile move. Next up, we're going to demonstrate a linear move. Now, linear is what most people are familiar with if they've messed around with motion control before. Some people call it a trapezoidal setup, where it'll keep the speed constant or ramp up to a certain speed. So in this case, the process is exactly the same. We go to the helper, and it asks us if we want to change the start or stop position. No, we're going to change the profile altogether, so we'll do new profile. We're going to go with the single axis, and we're going to do 30 seconds again, and hit OK. And now we're going to choose linear, and here it asks us how much ramp do we want at the beginning. If you choose 0, the speed will be constant, and there will be a bit of a jerk when it starts the move. So in this case, 30-second video, we'll do a 2-second ramp, and it'll put that on both sides for us. So we do OK, and we're again asked what type of device. It's a rotary. We're going to move to the beginning position. So we'll get our camera gear back over at that position. There we go. And OK. And now since last time we did 60 degrees or thereabouts, we're going to punch that in just to demonstrate that. So we do manual entry. It asks us which axis we want to choose for the manual entry. We're doing X, and we're going to say we want to move 60 degrees. There we go. So we'll hit OK. In this case, since we didn't actually move the slider, it's already at its 0 position. So now when we hit start, it won't actually prompt us. And there you can look at the velocity curve, the green curve, and you see that things start off where at 0 speed, which is good, and then it's going to ramp up, but then that speed is going to essentially stay constant all the way until it gets to the end, and then it's going to ramp down. So now we're going to kick that off. And you can hear it, you can see it. That speed starts and ramps up, and then it is constant as it progresses through the move. There's not going to be a change in velocity until it gets to the end. And there we are. Now we're going to demonstrate using more than one axis. The process is essentially identical to what we've been through before, but we'll go through that and give it a shot. I am going to demonstrate going to 0 here just to show you what it'll do when I hit that. Go to 0 on all axes. Yes, of course I want to do that. So we'll do that. In this case, it'll only move the x-axis since that was the only one that moved. Now we're going to try and set up 2 axes. So we'll do the helper. We want a new profile. This time we're going to set up 2 axes. We're going to do a 30-second move again. And OK. Now it's asking us at the top there about the x-axis. Now the x-axis is our pan axis, so I want to do a smooth start and finish for that. Is this axis a rotary? Yes, it is. The y-axis, we're going to do something different. We're going to do a there and back again. So the position that it starts at is the same position it's going to end at, but it's going to move a certain amount, so in between. And that works out pretty good for the tilt axis, which is what our y is set up as. So it's a rotary. We will move to our start position. This time, I'm just going to move the y-axis. And we'll start down at the bottom there. That looks good. Now we do OK. Now we have to choose our end position, and I am going to move it to the end position. So I'll get the x-axis moving quickly here over there and bring up the y-axis. So we'll go up a ways here. There we go. Looks good. Okay, and then it tells us how far it's moved, and that all looks good, so we'll do OK, and there we go. So in this case, the y-axis, because of how the camera is mounted, it's actually showing that it goes negative, but it will tilt up. That's all about perspective. If I flip the camera around, negative would go down, but in this case it's mounted the other way around. So you can see the two curves, the x and the y-axis. The y is the blue that dips down, x is the yellow. Now, if I hit start, again it's going to nag me to need to go to the 0 position, hit OK. It's going to go back both axes at full speed to the 0 position, and then it'll start. And here you can see in this move that the tilt is going up to the top, and then it is slowing down gently, and then it is going back down. And the x-axis, the pan, is doing essentially what we've done in the previous moves. Looks great. So sometimes you might come across a condition where the start button is red, and I'm going to demonstrate that here. If I go to the helper again, I want to do a new profile, one axis. Let's say I want to do a 5-second video and do a smooth start and finish, the rotary table. I'm going to use the current position, and I want to have it move, let's say 180 degrees. That's pretty fast. So I do OK. Now, start button's red because it's telling you one of your axes, and it may not be the x-axis if you set up all three. One of your axes is trying to move way faster than what it can. And you can see there the velocity curve also turns red, showing, yeah, this isn't going to cut it. You're trying to move it too fast. You can still start it. The 3X controller will allow you to continue, but it's ill-advised. And the reason is, let's say you're doing a move where your lens could potentially come in contact with your tripod. You're trying to avoid that, so the specific move is making sure it doesn't go too far down. Well, you can get in cases where you have the tilt move up a little bit and then move down really fast, and under those conditions, if it's not a symmetric move, you can run into problems where it can't quite get up high enough, but let's say it can go down far enough, and you can end up with a collision. So if you see the start turning red or that velocity curve red, it's really worth double checking your move before you kick things off. I did want to demonstrate one other thing before closing this video out, and I'm just going to move one of the axes here to get it so it's not at the 0 position. And now I'm going to press the power button. So if I press and hold the power button for 2 seconds, it'll ask you here, go to 0 on all axes before turning off. And the reason is, if you're planning to come back to the same position and shooting the same situation again, it's helpful to start off at your 0. The reason is that right now we're not at the 0 position, and when you turn your controller back on, it'll remember the motion profile, but you won't be at the original 0 position. You'll be at wherever you left off. So in this case, we'll do OK. Yep, get us back to 0. It'll move back to 0, and then the controller will shut off. Thank you for watching, and we'll have additional videos going through the other features of the StackShot 3X controller.